Well, hey guys, welcome back to Raise Create Cards. I hope everybody's been having a good week. Grab your coffee, your water, your juice, whatever, and settle in as we get to look at a new set and a new tool. Check that out. If you have your catalog, you have seen one of the newest offerings from Stampin' Up, our brayer, okay? Let me tell you, I'll give you a very honest review on what I think about this here in just a minute. In the meantime, I want to brag on some of my team members and friends and customers, but they're friends. Some happy mail that I got this week. And so from Beth, who is one of my team members, isn't that pretty? I would have never thought to have done the glittery cardstock, but I thought that was so cute and so festive. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. And the lady who, one of the two ladies who got me started in card making, Brenda, and sent this one, and I thought it was so sweet. Brenda is the one that introduced me to card making, and also the card ministry at church that I now do, so she could retire after several years of doing it. Beautiful, beautiful card. And one of the other women that is in the card ministry sent me this one, and I thought that was so sweet. And I know you can't see it, but she did accent with Wink of Stella and on the star. But isn't that precious? Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Sandy. And then from the card ministry, they actually sent me this, which I thought was precious, so very precious. So thank you. And Pat and her mother Dawn come to most of the classes, and so I thought this was such a sweet, festive take on that very cute set that we had this year. And she used the aluminum foil up here, which I thought was precious. I have not actually done aluminum foil on a card, but I thought that was so sweet. And I love it because I get to see everybody's different takes and ideas, right? And then there was this one from Joyce, who helps keep everything running behind the scenes. She does all the mailing of our card ministry and everything. And so I appreciate her. I don't know what we would do without her. So thank you, Joyce. A lot of these people aren't even going to see this video, but I still wanted to give them a shout out and how much I appreciate any card. I appreciate store-bought cards because I feel like, hey, they didn't have to think of me. They didn't have to spend money on a card for me, take the time to fill it out and give it to me. So it's all good, right? All right, so I had a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to play with first. My card room has been upside down, inside out. I finally got it semi-straightened up a while ago so that we could make this video and I could introduce you. Now, in the new catalog, if you already have yours, you know that there is that suite that has perennial lavender. Well, part of that suite also includes a second bundle, which is called perennial postage. And you've got all of these wonderful sentiments. And then look at those dies. If you have not seen them yet, aren't they precious? I'm loving it. And this, I checked this out today, and it embosses the logo. It doesn't, like cut it out. It just embosses the whole thing, which is too sweet. And I honestly haven't even had a chance to use these two little dies here, but I've pretty much used just about every die in here playing with it. And we're going to be using one of the sentiments on tonight's card. Do you want to see a picture of the card? So here's the card I finally ended up with, and I have got to give a big shout out to my husband for his help. There was just something not quite right about my original design. And I kept looking at it, and I kept changing this, and I kept changing that. And finally, in frustration, I walked away. He was looking at the layers that I had because I didn't have it glued together yet. And he walked in here, and he's looking at it, and he's going, well, isn't there another color that would go with that Highland Heather? Because, see, I had this one, okay? I had this one done in the Highland Heather, and try as I might, nothing felt right. It didn't look right. He immediately goes over to where I have all my cardstock, and he zeroed in on Fresh Freesia. Now, I had tried doing a Fresh Freesia card, and I kind of like gave it up, sort of, kind of. Because I felt like it was just too blah. And so then when I went to the Highland Heather, he was telling me, change this out for the Fresh Freesia. And when I did, it just made it pop. So kudos to my husband, who is not a card maker. But yeah, that came out really sweet. I was very, very pleased. You know, and I told him, I said, you know, sometimes us card makers, we just we don't have it. It's like we lose our mojo every now and then. I don't know about you guys, but it happens to me more often than I care to admit. So we're going to get ready and recreate this card, and I'm going to tell you step by step everything that you're going to need. So you will need your traditional card base, and I'm doing mine out of regular basic white. Because of the layers I have on it, I didn't feel like it needed to be the thick basic white. This is just 4 1/4 by 5 on the Highland Heather, 3 3. I'm sorry, let me take that back. This is 4 by 5 1/4 on the Highland Heather. This is 3 3/4 by 5 on the basic white. And honestly, I'm not sure what I want to put on the inside, so I haven't got that far, okay? But this is what you'll need for your base. You will want a piece of Highland Heather that is 5 1/2 by 4. And the reason why you're going to want that 5 1/2 by 4 is we are going to take the largest die in this perennial postage, and we are going to die cut that out, and we'll get ready and do that here in just a second, okay? Once that is die cut, I am going to emboss it with, I call it the bubbles. And I got to looking at it today, and I thought, well, you know, postage, bubble mailer. And I thought, well, let's try it, because this has not been one of my favorite embossing folders in the Basics 3D embossing folders. So we are going to emboss, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. We are going to emboss our card base with this one here shortly, okay? Once we die cut this, then I want to emboss that with the crosshatch. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with that layer. And then you're going to need a white layer that is measuring 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And we are going to use the second to largest die on it, if I can get a hold of it here. And so we're going to use the second to largest die and cut that out. And then we're going to emboss this layer with a brand new embossing folder, Layered Florals 3D. This thing is amazing. That photo doesn't do it justice. It's amazing. You'll see for yourself here in just a minute, okay? And then once we have all that done, the only other thing we need to do is our sentiment. And you will need a Highland Heather mat that is 2 1/2 by 1 3/4, okay, for our sentiment to go on. And for the sentiment, we are going to use, if I can get a hold of it, use my take your pick tool. No, not that one. Sorry. It is going to be this one. And then we'll get that going. We're going to heat emboss the sentiment, And we are going to use Mr. Brayer, brand new thing, because I want to show you what a dream it has been to use this. Everything I tried with this today, flawless, absolutely flawless. I've got a couple of samples waiting in the wings, but we'll get there here in a minute, okay? All right, just very quickly, I'm going to lay this to the side. I'm going to move that and move this over so I can make room for Big Boss. Hopefully I'm high up enough this time. And rather than doing the die cutting and embossing and then coming back and doing more die cutting, we're just going to go ahead and die cut our layers all at one time. So let's go ahead and get our Highland Heather. And again, this was 5.5 by 4 inches, okay? And that gives you just a little bit of wiggle room, just a little bit. We're going to cut that out. Now, if you wanted to, absolutely, you could take time to do an extra 1/4 inch all the way around the die. And when it cut out, you would have this wonderful little frame that you would then have to put on another card. So there is a possibility for you. I really didn't want to take time to get into all that tonight. So we're just going to go straight through. Yes, I am filming this on Thursday night. I'm Ray Henderson, by the way, out of Morristown, Tennessee. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time, I appreciate you being here. And if it's not your first time, I appreciate you being here. All right, this is my largest die, so I want to put this right over there with my case. And then we're going to take our basic white layer. And again, it was 3.5 by 4 3/4. And again, just barely gonna have enough. You know, I went through my scraps and I was finding pieces that I could make work. You obviously could cut your pieces just a little bit bigger if you wanted to. We're gonna crank that through real quick. And I know that's kind of loud. I apologize for that. So now we have those. Let's see what I'm talking about. If you wanted to cut your cardstock a certain way, you would have those little frames left over. Again, I was just looking for scraps that would suffice that I could squeak through on. Now, let me get ready for some embossing. I need my embossing plate here. And normally when we run our embossing folders through, we always run them through spine first. And that's the thing you're supposed to do. However, this being a card base, I'm going to have to run it through sideways, but that's okay. Let me unfold this. Oh, looky there. Somebody got ink on the back. That never happens to you, though. I know it doesn't. So I'm lining up my fold right there to the very edge. Just going to lay this in here. Put that right on top. And crank that through. It is a 3D, so it's going to be kind of firm. Kinda. I don't do this very often with the front of my card, but sometimes it's nice to do. So there we go. There is the front of it. And doesn't that kind of remind you of a bubble mailer? I thought it did. And I thought, well, you'll come in handy after all. And then, where did I put? Here it is. Here is my Highland Heather piece that we just die cut. I want to lay him in straight, as long as it's straight, right there. I'm going to run that through real quick, and then we'll only have one more, and I can get Big Boss out of the way. It is firm on a 3D folder. There we go. Sorry about the popping and the cracking. I could have had everything prepped, but I wanted you to see this step by step, and I wanted you to see how it all looked when it die cut, was embossed. It's really awesome. And then our white layer that was 3.5 by 4 3/4 that we also die cut. I want to emboss it with that brand new embossing folder. And let me dig him out. He kind of got buried back here. Again, that is the Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. Oh, guys, I am so blessed. I have been able to, now wherever you put that in this embossing folder is kind of up to you. I want to get at least a couple of whole flowers. It's okay if it's partial flowers around the edge, but I really did want to try to get the entire flower, at least a couple of them. Am I straight in there? I think so. Whoops, well, I was. There we go. There we go. All right, let's run that through so that you can see how beautiful this folder is. It is so pretty. Love, love, love it. It's not the first gorgeous one that Stampin' Up! Has given us, but it ranks up there with one of the more memorable embossing folders. So let me, at this point, move everything away, because I want you to see how beautiful this is. Look how intense. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love, love, love it. Love it. All right, so we're going to put this away and get my other folders and lay them to the side so I'm not getting anything else confused here, because y'all know me. If I can get confused, I will very easily. All right, now I've got a piece of scratch paper here, and I'm going to lay it vertically, and I'm going to lay it that way for a reason. And I don't want my Holland Heather. I want my fresh freesia. Here we go. Sorry about that. I forgot to get fresh freesia out, because I had worked on a fresh freesia card earlier, so I already had that piece. Now, if you'll turn your pad horizontal, okay? So, I was prepared. I've got to be honest, guys. I went ahead and I ordered this. I had actually been debating on whether or not to order, for a while now, a brayer from Tim Holtz. And his are a hard rubber. Most brayers are. So when this popped up in the new mini catalog, I thought, oh, but it was silicone. And I thought, well, is that going to work very well? I'm going to give you my honest feedback. It works like a dream. Now, I will tell you one thing, and y'all know, if you've worked with silicone mats and stuff, you know how they attract dust. I would recommend that you keep this in a plastic bag of some sort when you're not using it, just so it does stay clean. However, ink, dust, anything, if you'll just run it under water in your sink, it just all goes away. It is so, so easy. Now, you see these little things that are sticking up here? These are your feet. So when you've been ink blending, and I don't know how to show you, but it raises it up off of your surface enough to where you can set that down. It's not going to get ink on anything, okay? Awesome, awesome. However, oh, and look, I see a hair. Oh, of course, I would have to get a hair on there. Let me see if I can get a hold of it. When you go to use this, you want the feet up, because otherwise that could interfere in you executing your project. Because the very, very first time I used it, I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to have to get a wet paper towel maybe to get, no, there we go, got a hold of it. All right. So let me show you how easy this is. No more trying to use sponge daubers. No more trying to use blending brushes when you just want to hit the tops of a raised 3D embossing folder design. Now, when you get ready to load this, don't put it on here and just run it back and forth. That's not going to work. If you've ever painted a room or a ceiling, you know how, and when you've got your roller and you're getting it wet with paint, you're doing one of these. You're rolling, coming up, rolling, coming up, rolling, coming up. Now, Fresh Freesia is a very light ink, but can you see? You can see exactly where the ink is lining up on that roller. That was another concern I had. I thought, man, that roller is going to be awfully long. And then when I actually got it, I thought, man, that's awfully big. But you know what? With their stamp pads laying out and open like they do, and you've got that foam readily exposed, easy peasy. All right, are you ready? Watch how easy this goes. Is that not amazing? It's amazing. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Now, it may hit the edge. It's actually embossed right there on that very corner. Remember, we ran it through that embossing folder. But do you see how I couldn't have done that good with an ink dauber, with any kind of a brush or a little sponge, no matter how careful I would have got it on the background. I've got to get a drink of water, guys. Thank you. Now, like I said, these little feet, so where I don't have ink, let me set it down so that you can see. Okay, no ink transfer. Looky there. Isn't that awesome? And all you have to do is just run it underwater, boom, it's clean again. I love it. I can highly recommend the brayer. I do hope they put it in the lineup when all is said and done. For those of you who attended the live Tuesday, you saw me introduce the glass mat, the silicone mat, and the cleaning cloth. Well, guys, I've been using that little cloth hard and heavy like I would a chamois. Can you see? I've already got the ink stains and stuff on it. I love this. It is so easy to use. If you're using the Stamparatus, Misty, any kind of stamping platform, and you need to clean that stamp, this actually works better, I think, for that than our regular chamois. The chamois is great for cleaning stamps, but when you've got one mounted on a stamping platform, nobody wants to reach for it, and it's been all inked up, and you know, you've got to peel it off so you can clean it to put it away. That way there, it is so easy to clean it up. It cleans like a dream. I'm loving it. And you're going to use it the same way. You'll just rinse it out underwater until there's no ink running. Pop it back in its bag or its case, or however you choose to use yours, okay? But I'm loving it, and I don't think, I'm putting my brayer on the floor over there to get it out of the way. I don't think it is a replacement for the chamois. I could be wrong, but the chamois's got its place, but I do so hope that they make that available for purchase separate from the glass mat. I'm hoping they do. And you know what? I lied. Guess what, guys? Still got the sentiment to do. And for the sentiment, from the perennial postage, I have You Mean the World to Me. And I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to stamp that in VersaFine, okay? I'm going to stamp it in VersaFine because I want to heat emboss it. VersaFine is a pigment ink, okay? And it will take a few minutes to dry. but it is an intense pigment ink. It does not dry right away, and that will allow me enough time to get my clear embossing powder, okay, and put over that. First, I do want to get my Rabbit Hole Designs powder tool, and I do want to treat my cardstock. As you can tell, I've already used a piece out of this scrap because when I was in here earlier today playing. All right, got that. Put the lid back on, pop it together, and go ahead and stamp this. And if I don't get it totally straight, it's okay. It's all right. I'll just finagle the die cut around it. Okay, make sure that can kind of attach. I'm just going to leave it there for a second. Take the lid off of my clear powder. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? See how intense that is? So we're just going to heat emboss this real quick. And I might be able to get the mini me out. I think I probably can. To see how the powder clings to the pigmented inks. Like our white pigment ink, you've probably seen a lot of crafters will take white pigment ink, they'll stamp with it, but then while it's still wet, they'll put that white embossing powder over it. I'm gonna heat up my gun here just for a second. I wish I had some way not to transmit the sound of that while I'm standing here waiting for it to heat up. There we go. I think it's hot. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's already starting to change it. Can you see it changing? Getting darker, getting shiny. Whew, little hot chihuahua. Okay, there we go. And I don't know if you can see that shine, that little glossy look that put on that sentiment. Just make sure it's good and cooled off. And then we can die cut it real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna get out my mini me and not get Big Boss back up here just yet. Remove this. Oh, this is so much better up here. So much better. Yeah, it's cooled off. So will that go through? No. So I'm gonna take and cut this down. Just like so. Now it'll fit. And then I'm going to take my die, and I think I want to tape it just to make real sure it doesn't move. I would hate to go to all that work, and you would too, and it move on you, and it's like, oh, rat ink. Then you have to start all over. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I can only get, you know, a few minutes here and a few minutes there in my card room between laundry and cooking and everything else. And I know a lot of you deal with that too. And maybe, you know, kids coming home after school, etc., etc. And die cut that real quick. So are y'all caught up on your Christmas cards? Are you where you need to be? Have you got your gifts wrapped best of your ability? I got caught up on all that yesterday for the minute. For the minute, I'm good. Few days, we'll see. Oh my goodness. It can be kind of stressful this time of the year, but it can also be so joyful, doesn't it? All right, let me move my little plates here. Move my little scraps out of the way. Here is this. Now that purple mat that was 2.5 by 1 3/4, we're just gonna go ahead and glue that on there and get that much done. And we're gonna start putting this together. But I hope you're excited about that brayer. Now, there are other things that you can do with that brayer. And I will be showing those to you in future videos. There are several techniques and things that you can use with a brayer. Nothing new that I know of. Now, is that straight? I don't know. Let me pull that down just a hair if I can. I'm not sure if that's totally straight right there. Now, let me see. Did I get it? Maybe. May have got some nail polish on it too. All right, so here is our card base with the bubble wrap embossing. And here is our crosshatch emboss layer. And which end? Yep. This is the deboss side. This is the side I'm going to put my glue on. But y'all leave me comments. Tell me what you think about this set. Do you plan on getting this set? Do you plan on ordering the suite and getting the perennial lavender bundle and the perennial postage bundle? Are you only going to get one or the other? Yes, I have the DSP. I haven't even opened it yet. But like I said, I had a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to get. And let me give you a review on one other item. And I don't think I brought them in here with me. I took them to the kitchen and washed them. I believe the name of the bundle is Enduring Beauty. Yes. So there is this stamp set and dies. And it's a beautiful stamp set. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. One of the other things is a set of 5 stencils. I will be calling Stampin' Up on that. And I didn't look in the catalog to see if that just all automatically comes together. The stencil itself, the stencils themselves, there's nothing inherently wrong. But here's the thing. There's one stencil that lines up the outline with all these flowers, all 4 of them. Do you see that flower bud? And do you see that flower bud? And do you see this flower bud? And do you see how this one is right up next to that leaf? That one's right up next to that leaf. In fact, one of them almost lays over it. Yeah, this one is laying over that leaf just a tiny bit. And then you have this one. Well, the stencil for the main body of the flower blocks out the buds. Like it covers them over. But then when you get to the stencil to do the fill on the leaves, the big part, it uncovers them. So what I was having to do was take and maybe not so much this one because there's not a leaf around them, but I was having to do my very best to mask off the bud so that when I applied ink for the leaf, it didn't get over on the bud. And that very clearly is a flower bud, the little stem and everything. Then the next stencil does the shading, puts in the darker areas of the flower, okay? Again, it covered up the buds. And I don't know if that was an oops. I'm not sure what to think about that, but it just didn't make sense to me. And then there is another stencil that does just these middles, perfectly lines up. There's another stencil that does the veins and the darker, what would be the darker part of the leaves. And again, on that leaf stencil, these are uncovered. So I kind of had a hard time with it. I really did. And so I'm going to call Stampin' Up and see what's going on with that. And guys, I don't mean to sound negative. I really don't. But I'm not going to stand here and go, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. You need to get this set. Well, just be forewarned. I'm thinking the stencils do come with it. But irregardless, yeah, y'all can see what you think. And it may be that I got hold of a defective set. And I see I've got places that are lifting up right there. I thought I put enough Tombow. I'm going to go in there with my little skinny tip here. There we go. As I want that to lay down. I should have put my big block over it. Because anytime you're gluing, and this is embossed and the layer underneath is heavily embossed. Let me see, do I need to put some down here? But I'm always going to be honest with you guys. I will. I'm never, ever going to misrepresent any product for any reason. And when y'all see me use products by other companies, I'll tell you why, you know. And we all know no one company can be everything for everybody. Stampin' Up! Is the same way. They really knock it out of the park. What they do really well. But every now and then there's like a, I don't know what happened there. And that is going to be the case on those stencils. If you are a demo and you have ordered that in your pre-order and you've had a chance to play with it, please leave your comments and let me know if you had the same experience, because it could be that mine's defective. But I haven't had a chance to call Stampin' Up! Because I'm recording this Thursday night. Like, it's almost 9:30 Thursday night. I know, guys, I'm horrible. Oh, my goodness. I'm usually reading or doing something this time of the night. Well, actually, what I would have been doing would have been watching Mountain Men. That was on tonight from 8 to 9 o'clock. And I know my darling, wonderful husband taped it for me. So that's good. I can go back and watch it later. Oh, goodness. I like that show. There's not a whole lot of shows on regular TV I care to watch, but that is one of them. And I am looking for my big block. I've got a big block, a big one that I can lay over this, and I've been using it today. Oh, there he is. Just going to see if I can kind of lay that over, kind of get that down in there, because you got some really heavy embossing on this layer. And I will admit, you know, it may take just a hot minute to get that on there. All right, so now we are ready to apply our sentiment layer. I hope you guys are enjoying these dies. One of the cards that I was going to do when I did the Fresh Freesia part, I actually had gotten out the scallop contour dies. And this layer back here was with the perennial postage. And this layer was with the scallop contour dies. And I thought they went really well together. I thought that was a great way to extend the use of both sets, was by combining them. And I meant to pop that up on dimensionals. Is it too late? It's not. We're going to put that up on dimensionals. I've got just a few left on a sheet somewhere. If I didn't cover them up, knowing me, I probably did. Did I cover them? Under here. Well, there's my empty little packet. Oh, where did I put them? Did I cover them up? I don't know. We're just going to go ahead and get some more out. But I sure do like using everything there is to use on my dimensionals. We're just going to go ahead and pop this up and get our embellishments put on there. Please leave me a comment if you like this video at all. give this, I don't know, how was it Mom used to say? Scatterbrained. If you can give this Scatterbrained demo any grace, please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel so much. And as my channel grows and starts to get more views, I will be able to do more with you guys. It does cost to do videos and get them uploaded, because it costs me in my time and in my materials and, you know, all that good stuff. So, I mean, there is a price that we have to pay. So, I hope I'm doing that straight. That's kind of laying down. Am I centered? I think I am. So there we go. Got that. And this is several years old. This is like probably 4, if not 5 years old. And it's the last. It's finally the last of it. Several years ago, and I want to say it was in maybe a mini catalog. I think it was. We had a gingham DSP, and let's see, the colors were Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lime Twist. There was a couple other colors, and then they retired. Well, Daffodil Delight and Highland Heather didn't retire. Some of the other colors did retire, and they had offered a set with all the colors, and I had bought them all. And over time, I'm slowly getting them used up. And this was the last of the Highland Heather. And I'll have to go look in the annual catalog to see what we have for Highland Heather and get some ordered, because I love having some Highland Heather ribbon. I do. And then the brass butterflies, guys, don't overlook what's in our annual catalog. I love these things, and I have to admit, I don't use them enough either. And I'm just going to take a brass butterfly, and y'all hang on a second so I can show you. I'm almost afraid to show you the very first card I did with this set. I was in here and actually did quite a bit of them. Now this is another brand new embossing folder, and do I have it out here where I can tell you what the name of it is? I may have put it up. Anyway, this is another brand new embossing folder. And again, that brayer, Like a Dream. Now this is 3D, but it's a very delicate, I mean, it's just slightly textured. And again, do you see how well that brayer did? Yeah, it was awesome. So, the very first card I did, and I did it with somebody in mind, because they like bold, in-your-face cards, okay? So, don't say I didn't warn you. There we go. How's that for bold in your face? Okay. And anyway, every time I would look up at this card today, I was like, oh. Ooh, it is like intense. Then I got to thinking, hey, let's make a thank you card for the guys. Now, this isn't mounted on a card base, but here we go. So I used basic gray and soft seafoam. And soft seafoam is really pale, but I actually used soft seafoam on that embossing. And then soft seafoam, and then I stamped off the basic gray. That I stamped it with 3rd generation with the leaf out of the inked and tiled, and stamped in the basic gray. I can't thank you enough. And I thought, you know, that's really not bad looking, okay? So I just haven't put it on the card base yet. So guys, what do you think? I hope you like this. I hope you like that perennial postage set. I'm hoping that it's around for a couple of years, like our scallop contour dies have been around a couple of years, because they're beautiful and they're so versatile. And you saw how many dies were in there. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of all the designs that can be done with that one set. So, and you know, when I figure out what I want to put on the inside of this, I will. But here you go, your bubble mailer, your postage. Oh, and I did an envelope. So look at that, isn't it cute? I stamped the big hugs from the perennial postage. And can you see that embossing that one die did? Isn't that cute? And I put it on the outside of this envelope. Now, obviously, this would have to be hand delivered. I really don't think the post office is going to mail it with that. But I thought it was kind of cute, you know. And obviously, you know, if it's something you're going to mail, you could always turn it over and maybe put it on the back when you send it, or maybe down in the corner, you know, however you want to do that. But I thought that was really cute. All right, guys, until Tuesday, 10 a.m. when we do our live, y'all be safe, be blessed, know that you are loved. God is good all the time. Bye.